So I'm looking forward to this, man. I'm really looking forward to this. We are into the draft. Let's see. Well, the map, I believe, is going to be Cursed Hollow. There it is. It just pops up right there. And finally, someone is taking that hammer out. Hammer has been 100% win ratio for us today, Sean. And LDLC obviously recognizes that because they are as intuitive as we are. And they banned out the hammer, and Dignitas taking no time, banning out the Illidan. They don't want to play with the angsty 10,000-year-old Demon Hunter.
You are not prepared for this draft.
No.
Dignitas, however, is pretty prepared by banning out that Illidan. And, I mean, this is the polarizing two picks that we see in this meta. Come Tuesday with Sylvanas, it's absolutely no idea what the big picks and bans will be. But as of still today, Sergeant Hammer, polarizing comps, Illidan polarizing comps. We've seen repeatedly today, 4 games for 4, 0 Illidans, 100% hammers, and now we will keep that by saying picks and bans continue on with that trend. And as a first pick, Vala, I mean, I almost feel like I'm watching NA right now.
Yeah, I know. She's such a well-rounded hero. She has been consistently in the meta for 6 months. On varying different levels. She used to be much, much more powerful. Her strafe used to be absolutely insane. You could just like team wipe people with it. And they nerfed the level 20 upgrade for it as well, because that was a little absurd at one point in time. But obviously, she's received some nerfs, and she's, I think, overall very, very well balanced. She's strong, but she's not overpowered. She's not too strong per se. But Dignitas, this is interesting. At first pick, Nazeebo. So, Sean, we talked about for almost, it felt like a week or two, how Nazeebo felt like he was falling off a little bit. He wasn't being picked up that much. He was being completely overlooked in a lot of the drafts. And we've seen him, I believe, 3 for 3 today in these matches. So, a Nazeebo being picked up and a Stitches. And I like this from Dignitas. They know that Stitches has been the big playmaker for LDLC. It's been the playmaker for all of these teams, but specifically LDLC. So now they're going to pick it up for themselves. And LDLC really have to think about their lineup. They don't have a hammer. They don't have a Stitches, which is a great combination, which we've seen all day today. They're going to pick up a Tyrande and an Uther. So a different sort of draft style coming up from them thus far.
Different, but I still say I'm watching NA from the side of LDLC.
Oh, yeah,
right
absolutely.
Now. Vala into Tyrande and the second support, be it a Rhaegar or an Uther. I mean, this is totally just, we're setting ourselves up for either a double tank or a double DPS. To go immediately on the back of this. I mean, if we see a Chen ETC, bam, done. That's the game right there. But, you know, Dignitas, they got their own strengths going for it. As you said, a lot of Nazeebo today, 4 for 4. Stitches, 4 for 4. I don't think he's actually been banned. He's been in every game. Cursed Hollow is his map anyways. We've seen some fantastic hooks from Fnatic, from Alternate. And the like. So going into this, yeah, there it is. The Zeratul. I can't even finish my sentence. Thanks, Dignitas. Yep. But Zeratul is heavily favored in this map in general because the Void Prison combo with the Stitches, with that Ravenous, you're looking for a beautiful wombo.
It's tried and true. We saw it last match. Played very well. And now it's going to be, now LDLC are going to be facing it rather than playing it. They need themselves a healing support. Uther's not on the table. Malfurion is there right now. But judging by LDLC's lineups thus far, we could see a more pick-off, bursty composition. Anytime you see a Tyrande, there's always the potential for burst. But are they going to go a little bit more all-in on the burst, or are they just going to throw a Tyrande in there just for her damage? A Diablo Tyrande obviously is really good. Jaina followed up like a Diablo Jaina or anything like that. That is just so much burst. It's absurd. Though I will say playing a Jaina versus Zeratul can definitely be a little sketchy at times, especially if Zeratul gets some gathering power stacks or is able to, you know, get a level or 2 lead. Anytime you play any sort of heavy pick-off composition, it's imperative that you do not go behind any more than 1 level because it can get really out of hand because all of a sudden your whole draft, your whole strategy is lined up around picking people off. But if you're down by 2 levels, it's really, really hard to do that, especially when they're facing a Rhaegar. So right as I saw that Rhaegar, I thought, okay, Dignitas think they're up against a burst composition. They want to get a big burst healer. They pick it up. LDLC switches it up a little bit, picking up a Malfurion and an ETC. So the double healer composition coming out from Team LDLC, and that's a strong draft right there.
That's triple healer. That's triple support.
That is. That's that trip rip support, man.
Yeah, the trip and the rip. Yeah. So I mean, we've seen the Uther and the Malfurion combo. They pair together very well. Tyrande with the Hunter's Mark. There's owls on this map. The information control. She's going to have that lunar flare for the back line. On top of that, Nazebo, if he has to really watch that positioning. If it's not going to be the Tyrande getting into the back, it's a sprinting Uther. If it's not a sprinting Uther, it's an ETC. Stage dive, power slide, face mount. A lot of things to do up against that first pick, Nazebo. So LDLC have set themselves up for a very sustain heavy comp with that ETC and the trip rip. But at the same time, a hook, a void prison, they get into a 4v5 scenario, a 3v5 scenario, they are not going to be looking very hot at all. So it's really going to come down to LDLC to really execute that comp. And, you know, Dignitas has one more pick here. Wow. All right.
Ooh.
Not somebody
Ooh.
I was keeping an eye on, but, you know, I was thinking more along a Tychus. But, hey, the global presence, man, that's going to match the ETC.
Yeah, I likey. But this is all about, not about that base. It is all about, there's going to be some base. It's going to be a big boom, but not the base you were thinking about, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be the Void Prison, followed up by I almost said Shock and Awe, followed up by the Hinterlands Blast. And that's a combination we used to see all the time when Falstad was a very prevalent hero before he received some changes, which are overall considered a nerf. And it's a huge amount of burst damage. Though that amount of burst damage versus the double healer lineup, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. I mean, a Hinterlands Blast on top of a Nazebo Ravenous Spirit is a big amount of burst. They also have the option of anytime they see a Tranquility, Zeratul Void Prisms out. If Zeratul is able to catch both of the healing supports, Uther and Malfurion, out in the same Void Prison, then that's going to be a great team fight for Dignitas as long as they have the optimal follow-up after that. So I'm excited to see how this pans out here.
Could go either way. I mean, we've seen LDLC do some amazing work. I do know Dignitas can also do some amazing work. And I got to say, you know, when I saw that Dignitas Chris, who I'm pretty sure is, you know, from the League of Legends days, and I'm pretty sure, again, like Dignitas is from the Infinite Crisis crew. I'm pretty sure that they moved over from Infinite Crisis to Heroes of the Storm. You know, I've been a long-time fan of them, so seeing them now firsthand, what they can do with this kind of comp. We don't see a lot of Falstad. We don't really get to see a lot of Falstad at all. So I'm very interested. Is this going to be like a big pickoff, a big 1-2? Are we going to see Mighty Gust? Are we going to see? I'm just really stupid excited for this game.
We are in the lobby, just waiting for these guys to ready up. It looks like we're waiting on one person to get into the match, and then we will get into it as well. This is still the best one, correct, Sean?
Correct. Yeah, it will be our last match of the day, but our quarterfinals, which is what this round is. I'll bring us back to our faces because you guys deserve to see our beautiful faces. It is best of one. So all the things today, best of one. Tomorrow, best of three. We start off right at the nick of 9 a.m/2 p.m. CST, ES, whatever, CET. That's it. Whenever we started today, we do the same thing tomorrow, no matter what time zone you're in. And tomorrow will be best of three for the semis and best of three for the finals. And the top two of this qualifier is already going to be ready to go for the grand finals, April 11th, where teams will be competing for, it's not $18,000, that's the entire thing, a $6,000 to $7,000 prize pool. I don't know off the top of my head, but there's cash and there's Rocat hardware. What better way to solidify your place as a Heroes of the Storm team than to deck yourselves out with some amazing hardware? So top two will be determined tomorrow. This is our last game here on the quarterfinals, and what a doozy it will be. LDLC and Dignitas, some of the highest rated teams you can get in EU. Here for our viewing pleasure, for your viewing pleasure. So guys, you know, get out there, put out the word. Dignitas taking on LDLC, last game of the day. Come join Shane Giucher and I, and yeah, we're gonna have a good time.
Good times to be had by all, ladies and gentlemen. We are just waiting on one more person to ready up in the lobby. We let them know that we are good. So looking at the lineup of Dignitas, it's all about that Stitches. As long as Stitches can land a hook, a follow-up Void Prison isn't going to be that hard. You can lay down kind of like a haphazard Void Prison onto one or two people, not be the most optimal one. As long as you get it off, followed up with a hook on the right target, probably anything but an ETC, then you can get yourselves a kill. So it's all about that, you know, the hook and sink the Void Prison, you hook them in with the Stitches. It's something we've been seeing for a very, very long time. And once you hit level 16, you can just start throwing out those blinder fish hooks and just consistently land them on people, just because it goes for miles and miles, as Roger Delcher would say.
I like the focus that they have on fishing hook here.
Yeah.
I mean, every game has been fishing hook. We don't see slam builds. We don't see hybrid builds. We see pick off somebody and kill them builds with these Stitches. It's very refreshing to see. And you're right. If that Stitches gets a Tyrande, if he gets a Malfurion, gets a Valad, I mean, that could be easy kills. So it's, as I said, it's up to the teams to make these comps work. And these teams, ladies and gentlemen, are ripped, raring, and ready to go. On your left-hand side, Team Dignitas. My very first time commentating on them in the flesh. But Dignitas, Chris, going to be in that top. Blood Dragon. We got Sailless, Linked, and Nurak. Nurak actually looks like he's going to be soloing out a traditional party lane with that Falstead.
Falstad's lane presence can be a little underestimated sometimes. With Power Throw, it has such a huge long range. It's pretty good wave clear. He has a good escape. As long as his positioning is on point, he can actually do a lot of harassment damage in the lane. People tend to forget that. Uther, the horseshoe. Can they throw the horseshoe? Can they hook it?
Oh man.
Oh no.
Oh man. Nerd chills right here.
I feel like the jaws.
Volator. Oh, so close. That poor caster minion didn't see it coming. That is, I have not seen the horseshoe gank early, like the early horseshoe grabs in a long time. That's definitely a throwback right there. But Mr. Shane Gucher on the flip side here, you know, a team that we have now followed from game to game. They did just win a very convincing round up against Team Refuse. Tadarka into the top lane, Polator, and now Killer Shino, I Am Morden, and Nara representing Team LDLC, one of the strongest teams here in Europe. And there we go. We got that roam back down to here. So will be Stitches roaming up bouts, or will he actually sit down there? Because we have no healer into this bottom lane. Actually, the Rhaegar's top.
Yeah, Vala, a beautiful zombie wall, a preemptively placed zombie wall from that Vala, knowing the hook was going to land. Nara is nearly going to be able to escape as the Tyrande player, Morden, land a great defensive Lunar Flare on top of the Witch Archer. If that Lunar Flare didn't land, that would have been a dead Vala. Not a huge deal, because they would have continued to have Experience Soak in that bottom lane, but it just would have given a little bit of an advantage over to the side of Dignitas nonetheless. But it looks like right now that with this Stitches in the front line, this is not a normal party lane. Usually, you're right, there's no healer and Stitches is here. But I guess they just want to hook people in and, you know, keep these towers from taking too much damage. Both these teams about to hit level 4. At the 2-minute mark, we're going to see Mercenary camp spawn. And we'll see if they fall back to start picking those up before the first tribute.
I might have actually wanted to see Nazeebo into the top lane instead of Link, put Linked into the bottom. If there's going to be a Falstead there and he wants that party lane, he needs support. I mean, a solo Falstead by himself can't really win too many lanes. And a Falstead up against double support like that, even less so. He doesn't even have the bribe here either, as he did mention. He has the power throw instead. So range and slow duration is cool, guys. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, a flying bribe was the way that we did it back in the old days. And still, we just don't see too many Falsteads these days. So, you know, Bribe would have actually had this Bruiser camp already done, but you can already see Dignitas, they're saying, there's here somewhere. They're going to go to contest this. Healing Ward is down. Blood Dragon not looking so hot. We have no healer here. Chris and Nurak cannot contest, and that's going to be free Bruisers going the way over to LDLC.
Well done. Great game sense, knowing the timings of these teams. Every time around that 2-minute mark, 2.5-minute mark, teams generally fall back to either the Bruiser camp or the Siege Ogre camp to put pressure in the lane. And Dignitas recognized that and basically jumped on the opportunity to do that. And well done by them. Nazeebo, though,
wow, that was
gets
bottom.
Caught out. Down in, looks like the bottom lane.
Oh, yeah.
It was in the bottom lane. It was just a Lunar Flare followed up by a Roots on the Malfurion. And that's a good kill for them, because that's going to enable them to get a little bit of experience soak going their way. So they have a little bit of an experience advantage now, and they got the first tribute. So it's looking good for them. But looking at the level 4 talents here, Sean, no healing ward for Malfurion. They know that they need to survive the big Wombo combo burst coming out of LDC. They know they have to do it. Or, I'm sorry, not LDC.
That is LDLC.
That is LDC. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Of LDC. And they know it, and they are building into it, because they have double protective shield right there. Followed up with a cleanse as well. They have a lot of burst damage mitigation going out.
LDLC right now is pretty much on point. I mean, they got those kills. They stole out the Bruisers. They have the first tribute in their pocket, and now Blood Dragon. Oh, nice dodge. That's not going to be... Wow, we came out really late with those hooks. Sorry, not with those hooks, with those roots from Killer Chino. But, yeah, Blood Dragon will live. Sailless is now going to be down here. He is going to be able to soak. We got Chris also rotating down. They've now put Falstead into the mid up against the Uther, but it's still linked up against Dark into the top, and that's still not a lane that Rigger's going to win.
So we see Farsight and Clairvoyance coming out, so a lot of vision coming out on the side of Dignitas. They're going to have a lot of map awareness, a lot of map vision to be granted to them, on top of the fact that there's curses. Though this tribute, I think we're not seeing much contention here.
You see the hook pressure, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, I mean, we don't got any shish kebab. Nobody ever goes shish kebab, so he's not going to be able to interrupt 2 targets at once, especially at level 8. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So 2 tributes now for LDLC. This is not a good position because not only is Dignitas down in experience, just a quarter level, but still that's an important quarter level going into this next tribute.
Oh, yeah.
They are now down 2 tributes, which is a threatening curse coming up. One bad team fight at the tribute is going to be a curse, boss, and that's your forts, if not a keep.
Interesting build coming out from the Falstad now that he's been changed significantly. Obviously, the builds are going to be changed up a little bit as well.
All right.
Yeah, level 4 going with Vampiric Assault. Level 7 going with a talent that was granted to him with the most recent changes he received. It's called the Secret Weapon. And that's what they have right now up their sleeve. And basically, when he uses his hammering, his power throw, all his right clicks do 80% more damage. So it's almost a double increased damage on his right click.
Wait, that's not boomerang? All right.
Yep.
Dignitas coming out with the build, man. All right, well, we'll have to see how that works because, with the power throw and that hammer, sure, fine. But you're going to get off like 2 auto attacks while that hammer's in play. You're really going to have to make use of those 2 auto attacks.
With the level 1 talent power throw, I think the maximum you can get off is like 4 if it's on point exactly.
Really? 4 that many? I don't know. We'll talk about it after we see Darka jumping in. He's looking to finish up this big boss. The tribute was top, so they went for this bottom pressure. Unfortunately, looks like that they've kind of lost out on some of that bigger momentum, but here we go. Heal on top of Nirac. It's going to keep him in. We got the Void Prison out there from Chris. Here comes the Wombo with that Ravenous Blood Dragon coming in with that file. The green carpet doing work. Darka hit with that, with those hammers, with the shock and awe, with the hinterland blast, and Stitches will pay for it. But hey, they got themselves the 1 kill. They're looking for the second. I really actually expected to see the double, but triple support is really, really strong, Mr. Shane Gucher. And I don't think anybody else here from LDLC is going to drop.
Yeah, 1-for-1 exchange. I feel like the Hinterland's Blast was a little bit too late. There was a couple opportunities where it really would have landed and done a significant amount of damage, though the follow-up might not have been there. Nonetheless, a 1-for-1 exchange, both the frontliners getting knocked out of the team fight for a little bit. So this next tribute can definitely favor the side of LDLC, as this will give them a curse and also put them in a great position to pick up their own boss. While at the same time, Dignitas, they won't get a curse out of it, but they could deny a curse from LDLC and get themselves a boss as well. Oh, Chris, you got to be careful, man. He is going to be able to blink out of there.
Yep.
That could have been a disaster if the Lunar Flare and the Hammer Justice was there. The cleanse, trying to style points, trying to cleanse off a hook, but unfortunately the hook wasn't going to land anyways. Nara is going to get it. Can they avoid it? They can't. This is going to get a curse. Can Dignitas follow anything up after this? They're not going to get any kills. So now this is going to enable LDLC to roam around the map and put a lot of pressure in these lanes with this curse. If Dignitas were able to get a kill or 2 there, that would have mitigated this curse significantly, but they weren't able to. So once again, LDLC in a great position.
LDLC, I mean, they really actually could have fought right there. They got the triple support. They had small spaces, which is going to be favoring, the ETC, favoring Lunar Blazes. We had the Starfalls ready to go, but well, it looks like it's going to be the fight up top now. There's the Void Prison. Here comes this! Nirok hits nobody with the hinterland. Here comes the Ravenous from afar. Sailless, however, will take home actually nobody. It's Rhaegar that dies on the back of it all. And triple support, as I said, too good. Tadarka jumps and gets the slow on top of Blood Dragon, who then gets his own slow off there on top of Tadarka, but it's not going to be enough. He just power slides on forward, gets Blood Dragon into the rain for that Lunar. Chris now not looking so hot. Blood Dragon will survive. The hook actually hits Polartar, but the towers are not going to be firing. And so many shields with those double protectives. It's too much. Like, we just don't have the burst we need from Dignitas. 2 fights in a row now. They've gone home kind of licking their wounds. They're still very much on the back foot in terms of the experience. They lost out that bottom fort and now the top, and now they're going to have a boss marching right down to that gate on the keep.
This the Vampiric Assault, yeah, it's just like this is like a right-click build coming out of Falstad. This is really interesting to me. I mean, his damage numbers are okay. He's keeping up with the rest of his team. Witch Doctor is ahead significantly. but I feel like the actual effective damage he's been doing hasn't been that significant. And just because of, as you mentioned, they have so much healing on the side of LDLC. It's absolutely absurd, and they can't really kill anyone. Even if they do kill anyone, they have to put so many resources into doing so that, yeah, they get one kill, but all of a sudden they're all out of gas and they can just get walked over from LDLC. So it's interesting decision so far, though there is still a lot of potential for a big wombo combo to be pulled off. And anytime you land a good Void Prison, like a 2 or 3 Void Prison, it can not only change a team fight, it can change the match as a whole. So definitely gonna have to keep an eye out for that. That Zeratul player, Chris, he's landed some okay Void Prisons. He keeps getting caught into position every now and then. He definitely needs to up his game here, though, if they want any hope of getting themselves back into this.
Well, he does have the wormhole now at level 13. We got the bite butt coming up from the feral lunge on Rhaegar. So not entirely too sure that, you know, we need more bursts because already, I mean, we need healing. I much rather would have actually seen the chain heal at level 13 for the Rhaegar. Just stay in the back, chain heal to your heart's content. You got the healing totem, you got the ancestral. He's the lifeblood of this team. We got triple support on the other side. I mean, I'm actually a little surprised that we didn't see, you know, like silence come out from the Malfarian, because we have so much healing between the three of them there. With that only, well, that's a good point. With only the one healing ward. Kind of actually expected 2 out of that. But 2 with the silence, I think that could have done some really big work. But either way, both bosses are now down. Neither of them really cracking the gates that they did go charging into. We're looking for level 16 from LDLC. They don't quite got it, and Dignitas is engaging with the question mark.
They landed a good Void Prison. It was a good Void Prison, but the follow-up wasn't there. I guess the Zeratul thought it was go time, but fighting underneath the towers and the fort in that position, definitely the positioning just wasn't there. So if that Void Prison was out in the open near a tribute, that could have been really good for Dignitas. But unfortunately, it was in the safety of the firing range of that fort. So once again, tribute is going to go the way of LDLC right after they got that curse. They're about to hit level 16. Every single mercenary camp is taken, as in the polar regions, north and south, both the siege ogres are pushing. And it looks like LDLC have their eyes on this fort here in the mid lane.
Well, Gilbertino and crew, I mean, wow, that fountain did not last, so rip the City Cup. But 15, we're on the verge of 16 here. So LDLC absolutely want to fight. They want to get this fort, and they want to immediately try to punish somebody. Blood Dragon, however, not with these hooks. I mean, they're not going to get any kind of big picks, and they're not really going to be able to disable this offensive power. Like T-Dark in the front there with 3 sets of heals on him, you just tank out towers or days. It's like we're watching a Chen. I mean, he just doesn't have his hit points move when he takes the damage. It's actually really ridiculous. Nirok into the bottom lane does have that flight ready to go, so he is doing his best to split push. ETC, we're not really seeing a lot of split from him, although look, you know, as I say that, it looks like we are finally going to be trying to rip away from him a little bit. So he'll clean up the top and likely stage dive into the bottom. It's not the most important tribute here, but both teams do have 16, and whoever does get it will have the pressure of a curse in the next round.
Level 16, the false set picking up hammer time.
Oh god, really?
The first basic attack against a target slowed by hammering will stun them for 3/4 of a second.
This is either sleeper OP or they're just really throwing. I have no idea which it is.
It's interesting. I mean, like I said, his numbers are there. He's done a good amount he's actually #1 hero damage on the map, but it's all about that effective damage. There hasn't been much effective follow-up. If his damage can correlate with his hinterland's blast, that'd be just great. But this is a great opportunity for Void Prison. This is the area I was talking about. This is where they want to land that 2, 3, potentially 4-man Void Prison. They're all grouped up. They got to keep an eye. There it is. There's the 4-man Void Prison I was talking about. But the follow-up isn't there, Sean. Dark is just sitting there. Hinterland's blast on the 4. Grabbing his spirit is going down. 1 protective shield, 2 protective shield, tranquility, keeping everyone alive. Can they get through this damage? If they are able to live through all of these cooldowns being used, they are going to turn this around. And as I say that, they do. Zeratul goes down. There's the stage dive. Nurek is trying to barrel roll out of there. Dual barrel roll, hit Z twice to escape ETC, and he's going to be able to get out of there. The ancestral healing is going to be used way too late, though, as the damage has been done. LDLC coming out ahead. They getting the tribute. They're going to get their bruiser camp, and they might be marching towards some tier 2 towers in the keep right here, Sean.
Now, that was really good out of Dignitas. I'm not going to take away any points out of that. They got the Void Prison. They got the big wombos perfectly. The problem is it's triple healer. You said it with those protective shields. 1 protective shield, 2, tranquility comes out. Line of healing, healing, and healing, and healing. And by the end of it, it's just like, did I just see a fight? Did I imagine that? None of their hit points were even scratched from LDLC. This is why they went for the triple heal. That's why they got the ETC in the front. He can heal himself. The rest of everyone is ready to go. We got blood for blood on the Vada. I mean, like, the sustain is insane, and that's why I'm really curious about this Nurok build. So I was looking at those numbers, Mr. Shane. He threw out the hammer. He went from 185 auto tech to 331. Still not game-changing.
Yep.
Get yourself the gathering power into overdrive, into Hinterland Blast, level 20 Hinterland Blast. I think that would have just done much better on this comp, and now Dignitas is getting served.
They're trying to get that Golem, and right now it's not looking good as Zeratul down. Void Prison just came up pulled in as well. There's the Hinterland's Blast. It is going to hit the Vala, but he's narrowly going to escape. And there's the strength of the healing that you were talking about, Sean. So good. Double Malfurion Roots. Tenacious indeed. As Falstad gets taken out, Salus is going to have the winds taken out of his sails. He's going to get blown away, and this is looking great. They have a boss marching down bottom lane. All 5 up. ETC going a little ham there as he gets the stitches. Maybe not ham. We won't go with that one. We all know where that's going to go. Picking off the stitches. So oh my lord, and Rhaegar goes down in the background too.
I was watching the whole Rhaegar thing. Oh man, we can get bottom keep and immediately go top. There's nobody at all to go grab that tribute, and then we're gonna have a curse on the back of this. Assuming the game just doesn't end right here, Shane.
It's a good possibility. Rhaegar's down for 30 seconds. Void Prison is up though, and so is the Zeratul. So that's one of the best delayed tactics in the game if he's able to use it appropriately.
So just let this boss push in, get as much damage as they can, go grab the tribute, because I don't think they're gonna grab it here. Like, can Chris actually delay this? I don't know. As you said, Rhaegar's down for another 15. They're gonna go for the win right here.
They got to be careful here because I feel like Dignitas, yes, they're on the back foot, but they definitely have what it takes to defend here. And LDLC are going to recognize that. They are going to fall back. That Vala was so close to going down, but again, just the pure amount of healing is absolutely absurd and has really been carrying LDLC into the position that they are in right now. So the core is going to take a little bit of hull damage, not too much. But we're going to see a curse. We're going to see LDLC rotate to their own boss. That's going to enable these tier 2 towers and the keep in the top lane to get taken out. There's a 2-man Void Prison. Where's the follow-up? They need the follow-up. There's the Malfurion. Tranquility is up. Tranquility is up. He needs to use it. He needs to use it now. He's so low. He does get down. This is looking good for Dignitas. They need to get more than just 1 kill, though, Sean. Nara is really, really low. They're not going to get more than 1 kill. Though they will be able to get this tribute. Can they get this boss, though? I don't know. They're 2 levels behind. They need to do more than just that 1 kill, and it looks like they are going to go for this boss.
And the boss is actually a really good move here because, without that Malfurion, they are down the Tranquility. I mean, even if he was up, the Tranquility was down anyways. And, I mean, there's nothing really else for Dignitas to do at this point. Yes, they got themselves the tribute, but no, it was not worth dying for from the team of LDLC. That's why they backed off. They did not fight for it tooth and nail because it wasn't going to be a curse. Now, this next one is going to be a curse, and Dignitas is going to use as much of this time as they can in order to try to equalize out that experience because they have really fallen behind in terms of that race to 20. They're just hit 18, whereas we're about 19 and a half here for LDLC. This next tribute could be huge if we get that 21st, but there it is. The tribute's up. That's going to be a pre-20 fight, and Malfurion is nowhere in position at all. We're going to have to do some extreme poke and delay tactics in order to get this big fight out, but even if you do that, you miss out on this boss, which means that we're going to get a curse for Dignitas.
A good hook onto that Malfurion enabled them to bait out Tranquility, and that's a great thing for them to have right now. Tranquility has been such an important tool in these team fights. Void Prison is not up. It's going to be up here in 8 seconds. Hinterland's Blast is up in 2 seconds. If they can take a team fight here, this is where they need to take a team fight before LDLC hit level 20. They're very, very close to a hook onto the Tyron. Can they get the follow-up? They need the follow-up. There's a Void Prison. Take down Tyrande.
So
you might
good.
take down the match as well. This is what they need. The 3-man Hinterland's Blast. This is looking so good for Dignitas. Divine Storm, though, is going to take Chris out of the fight for a little bit. Dark is getting 1 protection shield. Will it be a second? He's so very low. He's got to get back to the Nexus. He is going to live here. But a 5v4 situation. Are we going to see the core here? I don't think so. That was a good fight for Dignitas. They are looking good in this late game situation right now, Sean. 2 team fights going their way. That Void Prison finally is doing what it needs to do. Meanwhile, they're going to kill these forts. These forts are going to enable them to even up the experience, hit level 20. And all of a sudden, we are looking at a pretty even match here, Sean.
It took a long time to have this comp kind of come to fruition, but You know, the next team fight is very likely at the 20. The timing was absolutely perfect for Dignitas. They were able to use the fly to get back into the lane with the boss during the keep. They got the hook on absolutely the best target that they could. They baited out the Tranquility, and LDLC got nothing for it. Yes, it's level 20, but it's a much closer race, and it's going to be a much closer finish now that, as I said, this next team fight should be 20 apiece. So Dignitas showing that this late game can work. What will that level 20 be for the Falstead? Since he's auto attack, are we going to see a Nexus Frenzy?
It's interesting because what is more important, the big burst damage from Hinterland's Blast, or I mean, his right click can be a little bursty as well with that hammer time and the secret weapon, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm sure they've crunched the numbers on this. These guys know what the numbers are, and I feel like either one will benefit in different ways. Which one will be more effective, though? Honestly, it's hard for me to say. I've never really seen this build before. Okay, it is going to be that Nexus Frenzy. So the range increased by 20% and the attack speed by 20%. And also, I forgot about it. That's going to synergize really, really well with the secret weapon. So that's going to be able to him to get off maybe 1 or 2 more auto attacks in that duration. And that's really all they need in these team fights. So many times people have been so very low. 1 or 2 more auto attacks might have been the difference between someone living and someone dying. So to much surprise, Dignitas is in this once again. They got to be careful here, though. The boss is here, and LDLC know about it.
Oh yeah, and LDLC, they've been setting up this party bush for a while. They are in the position. ETC is into the top. He's going to be stopping out those giants. And Dignitas, I mean, they're still actually in position. They could actually surprise, take it out as fast as they can here and get that and then go for the engage. But, you know, they're kind of running out of time if that is going to be the case. Stage dive is absolutely going to come in here. Yeah, the timing is perfect. Oh, the Void Prison! It's so good! It keeps them all at bay. That's going to be the blink away from the ETC. Here comes the Ravenous now into the back. Dark is not looking so good. Nara blinking away as well. Defensive play from LDLC. Dignitas, Chris with probably the best Void Prison he could have asked for right there. They get themselves the Grave Golem. They got themselves now a whole bunch of blinks and ultimates for it. We still have a Ravenous, which means we can still re-engage this, or they can go for core, or they can look for these hooks. Oh my god, if that had been Nara right there, I could have called game.
Wow. That's such a good defensive exit right there from that team fight. A very bad position. Now, a lot of cooldowns are used. And Chester Healing is still up, though without the big Void Prison combination, I feel like LDLC definitely is in the favorable position anytime most heroics are on cooldown. Now, this next tribute is going to get them a curse. They have to be careful, though, because there's a lot of delay tactics that can be used. Darka is going to blink over to Chris. Chris has got to be careful. Hunter's marks up. There's a Lunar Flare. He's able to dodge it, though. Meanwhile, to the east, there's a Rain of Vengeance. There's a Divine Storm. There's Chester Healing to keep him alive. So able to survive through that burst potential, though. Blood Dragon, he needs to get out there. He is going to have a little bit of some flatulence, get himself out. A lot of poke, but no one going down. Both of these teams are playing so well, getting into these team fights, but no, a great Lunar Flare followed up by the tenacious roots of Killerchino, and that is going to give LDLC a curse. Their frontliner Stitches is down for a minute. This, I'm not sure if they're going to go for a core here. No, okay, ETC is going to back away. Stage Dive is on cooldown. He won't be able to come to these team fights. Looks like they just want to get the lane pressure back in their favor as all the lanes are pushed out, and maybe eye and keep a little bit later here.
Giving up that curse, I mean, we had such great positioning for that chip, and I really expected Dignitas to just kind of get it and run. I wasn't expecting a big team fight when so many of their ultimates are actually already down. There's so many of those heroics. And, you know, if they can't burst someone, they're really not going to win those sustained fights. I mean, time and again, we've seen this. You get people low, doesn't matter. Heals and shields and healing wards and more heals and heals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, that's what LDLC is serving right now. Lots and lots of heals. If you take a look at the healing numbers, I mean, 94,000 for the Malfurion, 47-32 only against the Rhaegar with 66. I mean, it's definitely two very different leagues in terms of the overall amount of healing that is done. And you know, you need it. LDLC, that's all they have going for them. They can really win these sustained fights, which is going to obviously lead us into these huge healing numbers. So now, on the back of that, nobody goes down. The Stitches was out for the count. Blood Dragon and crew could not move out. The Curse, perhaps not the most effective, but it does allow the map positioning for this Grave Golem, which is very likely to get a keep with the pressure that LDLC is putting on.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be able to contend this keep right now. There's a hook on to Nara. No follow-up. There's a 3-man Void Prison, but again, the follow-up is in there. Where's the Hinterland's Blast? There's the Singularity Spike on Devala. 1 protective shield, 2 protective shield. Divine Storm on a Christo on a Lunar Flare. Down goes to Zeratul, and this right here might be the nail in the coffin. for the German team, Dignitas, as that was a pretty good Void Prison, but again, the follow-up simply wasn't there. Rain of Vengeance isn't going to land. But with this boss going in here, can they go for the core? It's a 4v5 situation. I don't know, though. They're actually doing a pretty damn good job of defending so far.
Yeah, but again, you need to burst somebody down out of this. I mean, Siddharka is in the front. He's wanted to get that interrupt there on top of Sail. Sail is throwing the Ravagers into the back. It's making them scatter. Great hook on top of Siddharka. That is what Dignitas needed. That will shut down this push. Their core will remain at 88%. Narak is actually chasing with that barrel rail. Sailless, however, going to get hit by the Lunar. He's going to be out for it, and this is going to come down to a hook. There's nothing else here except the hook, and they get it on top of Killer Chino. The Shockanaw is there. The Hinterlands Blast does the damage, but it's just not enough. Lynx was going for the Bite Bug, but he can't get it. Not with that stun from Politar. And now Blood Dragon, he has his ult up again. This has gone on long enough that all the cooldowns are there. Blinks are now being forced. Another hook. Killer Chino is going to go down, and that is now 2 dead for LDLC. And all of a sudden, the momentum is here for Dignitas.
Oh, Narak with the big old fly over and try to flank. He's trying to get a kill here. Can they get a zombie? Well, can they continue to do this? Gordon is out of position. He might be going down here. He is going to go down. Another great hook onto Nara. Blood Dragon is going to chase down this Vala. Don't know if he'll be able to get a kill, though, with a follow from Chris. That's going to be a dead Demon Hunter. Oh, my lord. This is going to be the game, Sean. The Dignitas is going to win here.
Oh, my good gracious God. What did we just see? Not only did Chris go down very first in that fight and they lose out the keep, but all of a sudden they just immediately go into hyperdrive, and here we go. Chidarka was the first to die, the first to up, but he's not going to be a 5-man defender. Not against this, not without a mosh pit. There's no VPs here, and this is good game right here. Dignitas pull it out from the jaws of defeat to go forward here and enter the cup. Cup number 1, qualifier number 2, round 3 with 4 Core Jester and 5 Shane Gucci. It's wow.